Text, right? This morning? No, yesterday. Oh, right here. Right? But I'm talking about pranayama. Yeah. Okay. Pranayama. For me. Whatever about the health, whatever tips you can give, that's wonderful. You always love you. Last one. But your health tip we always love your health tip, whatever. How daily yoga and pranayama helps our daily life. This is the first time I met Bakul by here. It's like last 15 minutes more of a question answer. Yeah. I was thinking like one of the things that we can do it. You guys are monitoring, right? So what I was thinking is, if they have any questions, put it in the chat box. And then as I go through each pranayam, then if there is any questions, we can talk about that. No, but chat box is saying if online anybody has a question, he can answer. We can talk about that. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Yes. Just inform everybody that what you want to know about the, and your health. If there is any specific health question you have, that will be good too. Okay. Yep. Good. So we have about 2 minutes if we can start on time. Yes, absolutely. So I think when I put mat trial, probably that will be fine. Because of the camera, it will just good. Any adjustment need to be in the mic? I think yeah, it's better. Whenever you're going to stand up, that time I'm gonna tilt the camera a little bit up, or we can move the mat backward. Everybody sign up the phone, please. Good morning, Jai Shri Krishna. So Satishbhai will start session soon. So I hope you guys are able to hear us. Emma Ben, can you hear me? Good, perfect. Looks like it is 7:30. Yes. All right. Begin. Namaste. So we'll chant 3 times Om and we'll begin.
So repeat after me. Om Bhur Bhuvaswah Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonaha Prachodaya. This next mantra is dedicated to Patanjali, written by Raja Bhoj. Very few lineages use this mantra, so just chant with me. Yogena chittasya padena vacham
Yogena chittasya padena vacham
malam sharirasya cha vaidyakena
malam sharirasya cha vaidyakena
yopakarotam pravaram muninam
yopakarotam pravaram muninam
patanjalim pranjalim pranatosmin
Patanjalim pranjalim pranatosmi
Abhahu Purushakaram
Abhapurushakaram
Shankachakrasidharinam
Shankachakrasidharinam
Sahasashirsham Shvetam
Sahasashirsham Shvetam
Pranami Patanjalim
Pranami Patanjalim
Srimate Anantaya Nagarajaya
Srimate Anantanagarajaya
Namo Namaha.
Namo Namaha.
So I'm so very thankful and honored to be here with you guys and all over the people all over the line. Thank you to Piku Bhai and Bri and Chatur Bhai. So it's truly an honor to be here. So the topic we are going to cover is the 4 advanced limbs, or the internal part of what we call yoga. So before we start this journey into the aspect of pranayama, the biggest problem in yoga is the concept of asana that has come into play, and everybody thinks asana is yoga, and that has destroyed yoga. So my goal in coming here and speaking something about this is, in 198 sutras, Patanjali only talks about 2 times about asana. In the entire Yoga Sutras, there's only 2 times asana has been said. He says, Sukham Sthiram Asana. That's only 1 time he talks about asana. But we have made asana as yoga. Okay? So the two prayers or the shlokas that you have to understand when you're practicing yoga is, let's talk about this, is so chant with me. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yes. So, and the other one is Yujjate Anena Iti Yoga. Yujjate Iti Yoga. It's a Yujjate Anena Iti Yoga. So what is yoga? It's fundamentally when you're trying to bring 2 things together, and whenever you're trying to combine things together, is yoga. And so Patanjali clearly says in his thing, in the whole philosophy of Patanjali, right? He's come from the heavens, and you have to understand why this yoga came into play, or the history behind this. Vishnu is sleeping on the Ananta Shesha in the Raga. When Vishnu is sleeping, Lakshmi is touching her feet and things like that. The earth is on the top of Ananta Shesha, and there is a vibration that happens, and Vishnu starts shaking, and Ananta Shesha starts shaking. So the Vishnu wakes up. So Ananta Shesha then asks Vishnu, "Oh Lord, what is in this universe that can wake you up, and what is in this universe that can shake me?" because I'm the one carrying the earth. So then Vishnu smiles and asks, Shiva would be doing Tandava or Shiva must be doing yoga. So then Anantashesha then asks permission from Vishnu, says, Lord, I want to learn yoga. Can you give me permission to go? And that's how this whole lineage of yoga that came to us is because of this aspect of Anantashesha asking Vishnu for permission. And so Patan, to the Anjali Mudra of the sage, he drops into the mudra of Anjali. So Patanjali, he comes into half snake, half man. He comes into being, and then he learns yoga from Shiva, and then that's how we gets it. And there's so many other stories behind the aspect of it. But why Patanjali is a physician? He's the aspect of grammar. He's the aspect of Ayurveda. So that is why the shloka that Raja Bhoj that we chanted, he says that Vaidyakena, right? So he's a Vaidya. He's also the grammar expert. And that's where we got our lineage from, right? The sound of the Damaru is the alphabet of Sanskrit. So when we talk about yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi, when you talk about these 8 limbs of yoga, why Patanjali, and then the aspect, the 2 people that you need to understand. As yogis, one of the first thing is why we're doing it, for what is the background behind it. This one of the biggest tasks is that we just come to yoga, oh, mera health kharab hai, or I'm having this problem or that. We come to health. And actually, yoga has nothing to do with health, technically. The 6 darshanas, the Shad darshanas that we talk about, Nyaya, Vimamsha, Uttarvimamsha, Yoga, Ayurveda, and Vedanta, the 6 philosophies of what we talk about as darshanas in Hindu philosophy. When we talk about it, yoga has technically nothing to do with health. Yoga is purely spiritual. Your health comes from the Ayurvedic tradition. The 4 Upavedas from the Atharvaveda is Yoga, Jyotish, Vastu, and aspect of Ayurveda. So these are how you understand this aspect of philosophy behind why we are doing something. As a yogi, if you're practicing yoga, you should have an understanding of this is some of the benefits of things. Say Sankhya. Sankhya, right? The two aspects of Ayurveda and yoga, when you look at it, it follows Sankhya philosophy. So there is not a concept of God as such in the aspect of yoga. It is Sat Chit Anand. It is pure consciousness. There is no Ganesh. There is no aspect of Shiva, and all these people never existed in this aspect when Patanjali was teaching. There is no concept of God as a personified God. There's none. It is pure consciousness. बहुत गलत करते हैं हम लोग. It's very, very absolutely destroyed the sense of yoga. Anybody can practice yoga. It has got nothing to do with Hinduism. It's all these things came later on. The Vedantic, the Tantrics, everybody put things together and destroyed yoga. But when Patanjali time, it was pure consciousness. Sat Chit Anand. That's it. Om Sat Chidananda Parabrahma.
Om Satchidananda Parabrahma
Purushottama Paramatma.
Purushottama Paramatma
Shri Bhagavati Sameta.
Shri Bhagavati Sameta
Shri Bhagavati Namaha. Right?
Shri Bhagavati
So
Namah.
it's only Satchidananda, it's pure consciousness. So there, but he talks about one place, he says Ishvara Pranidhana. So he gives you a concept that you can have an individualized God at that particular time. But Sankhya, both yoga and Ayurveda, has a Purusha and then the aspect of Prakriti. Purusha Prakriti creates what we call a Mahat, cosmic intelligence. From Mahat comes your aspect of Ahankar, which is differentiation. Then comes the 3 gunas, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. From Sattva comes your sensory perceptions. From your Tamas comes your aspect of all the 5 elements and things like that. So that is your Sankhya. This is our philosophy. This is our entire existence is based on Purusha Prakriti, but not as a personified God. So there is a little bit difference in that. So when you're talking about pranayama, and when we talk about the aspects, what Bikulbai talked yesterday and things like that, I'm just kind of bringing it a little bit back. So we will do, my goal is to show you all the 7 pranayams that what is classically done. But before you start that journey, the key is, what does pranayama means itself? The concept that when you break Sanskrit word prana and ayama and prana and yama, you can break it down both the ways. Most of the textbooks is written on prana and yama. When that you read it, that means you're controlling the life force, which is technically not right. You cannot control life force. You can extend ayama, you can do ayama, but not really yama as such. That's something everybody should understand. When you're doing pranayama, you're trying to extend the life force, but it's not all about controlling life force. Anything that you keeps you alive, understand what I'm saying now. Anything that you think that keeps you alive is not under your control. It's here in the cerebellum, your heartbeat, your respiration, your pH, your everything that you think that keeps you alive is not under your control, not in the prefrontal cortex, not in the cortex, but it is in the cerebellum, it's here. आपके पास कुछ भी control नहीं है, there's no control about this. So ये गलत concept है कि I'm controlling the life force. You're extending the life force. You're not really controlling anything. You don't have a control on that. आप आज हैं, कल हैं. Tomorrow you're gone. Or it's this second, you're gone. So when you're trying to practice pranayama, you're just extending it. Can I manifest health? Can I manifest yama niyama asana? Your pranayama is the bridge between internal and external yoga. That is why this becomes one of the most important limb in how do I go from your aspect of samadhi pada to kaivalyam. How do I go from this pada to this pada is the aspect of how I transit. And your pranayama is that bridge which takes you from external to internal. Very, very important is that no matter what meditative practice you have, whatever meditation you do, it is how do I bring my breath into play, my manas, my buddhi, and my breath. When it comes together, then only it is truly yujate, or it is truly yoga. And that's why pranayama becomes one of the most important limb in understanding that, because our goal when you're practicing yoga, you're practicing hatha yoga. That's it. Kuch bhi nahi hai. You are all thinking hatha yoga. Nothing. Hatha is here. Ha means sun, tha means moon. Your hatha is this aspect. That's it. Your goal is Raja Yoga. Your goal is not hatha yoga. The biggest stupidity. I'm doing yoga, everything is here. No, you're just hatha. Your goal is here, not here. But this becomes a vehicle for you. And that's where pranayama comes into play. How do I bring this up? The Divine Mother is 300 times, 3 times coiled in here, in the Kundalini aspect. Ganesh sits here. So you should understand when you're practicing pranayama or you're getting into pranayama, there are 3-4 concepts you have to understand. First is the chakras. So put your hand at the down, say Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipura, Anhata, Vishuddha, Ajna, Sahasra, right? So the 7 chakras. Then comes the nadis. We have 36,000 nadis. We have 72,000 nadis, according to yoga and Ayurveda. From the aspect of Vedantas and Vedantic people from the Vedas, it comes from Mooladhara. From the Buddhist and the Tantric point, it comes from the Manipura chakra. But you have 72,000 nadis. So that is why it says Deha Prana Samayoga Ayu. Say Deha Prana Samayoga Ayu. Means what is life? What is life but the movement of prana? आप प्राणायाम कर रहे हैं, but why am I doing pranayam? Because whenever the nadi is stuck, you have a disease. Through pranayam, you can open up the nadi and you will flow. Fundamentally, we are a pond. Your job is to become a river. The more you flow, the more you can manifest health. Does that make sense? Everybody okay? Right? So what do you have to understand is, why am I doing pranayam? Am I opening up my chakra system? Am I opening up my nadis? Then comes the five elements. Every yogi should understand the five elements. Why Indians eat with hand? Right? Space, air, fire, water, earth. This Panch Tattva, you have it here. Right? You have to understand, why am I doing a mudra? So when you're doing pranayam, you have the aspect of mudra, you have an aspect of chakras. You've got to understand the elements. That is why anything with ADHD, ADD, anything with anxiety, depression, you say Vayu Mudra or you say Jnana Mudra. Anything with acidity, GERD, anything with intestine is this. Anything with heart disease, anything with emphysema, bronchitis, anything with Tattva Shuddhi. Right? Why am I doing a mudra? From the aspect of Jyotish, this becomes Venus, this becomes Jupiter, this also becomes your Saturn and then Sun and Mercury. When I'm doing a Vishnu mudra or Shankha mudra, what am I trying to do? I'm controlling the Jupiter, Guru, and the Saturn comes into play. What I'm trying to show you guys is I want you to take this layer a little bit more deeply, right? When Bigulba is teaching you guys and things like that, right? Understand there is a deeper aspect of what he's trying to teach you. Is that we are only taking one layer on the top. But I want you to understand the deeper aspect of it, why you are doing. Because if you don't understand why you're doing, oh, I'm doing Anulom Vilom. And Baba, but what does Anulom Vilom do? At the most core aspect. I'm doing Kapalabhati. Okay, why am I doing it? What is the reason behind it? Right? There is a deeper aspect of it, and you peel that layer. Is that why I'm saying this? Right? So my goal is to bring you some background. So it's better for you guys, so you understand the concept behind it. Whatever you do in these 8 limbs, if you don't understand the philosophy or the background behind it, it's worthless. You're following somebody. I don't want you to follow somebody. Yoga is very individual. It's very individual because that's how you connect. Your connection is, and that pranayama is what is the bridge between how. Then comes your 5 sheaths of the body. Right? So say Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha. You have the 5 sheaths of the body. You have the 5 elements. Saptadhatu, you have 7 tissues that you talk about. Rasa, Rakta, Mamsa, Meda. So you have the 7 tissues. You have the 7 chakras. You have 5 elements. And your aspect of 5 sheets. This is very important for you to understand. Aapko lagta aap ye hai. This is who you are. Hey Bhagwan, you have much more. You have a bigger aspect than who you are. This kuch bhi nahi hai. This is the most grossest part of who you are. And we give so much importance on this one. Your disease is not here. Your disease is out here. Your disease then comes inside to the grosser body. It's a little bit different aspect. So, aapka disease either hai, not here. This comes later on, and then you say, oh, I have this, or I have cancer, or I have diabetes, I have this and that. That was here already. It just comes inside you way later on. All right? So the aspect, I hope I'm not boring you guys, but just want to give you an understanding, because if you don't understand this, whatever else I'm going to teach you is not going to work. But I just want you to understand. We'll get into Kapalabhati, we'll get into Anulom Vilom, all that. We'll go through that. But Yama Niyama Asana Pranayama is the extension of life force. Pratyahara. Pratyah means I don't need it, I don't want it. Ahara means food. What Patanjali is saying is, when you go after Yama Niyama Asana Pranayama, there is an aspect called Pratyahara. What is the Pratyahara? Is the five senses. You're constantly judging others. Everything that you're doing in your life is fundamentally looking outside. How do I bring this back inside? Pratyahara. I'm not going to feed my senses, because if I feed my senses, it's going to go more out. How do I bring it inside? Is Pratyahara. Only after you do pranayama. So that in the aspect of Patanjali, there are two kinds of people you have to understand as yogis. Patanjali assumed, or in the time of Patanjali, you were highly evolved. Utna kachara nahi tha hamare dimag mein. So he said yama niyama. So first you have to do yama and niyama, then only you can do asana. That's very important. Patanjali said that. It's like, okay, don't practice yoga asana. No, you're not ready for that. First, you know how to behave in society. And second is, how do I behave with my own self? Yama, how do I behave outside? Niyama, how do I have my own self-imposed restrictions that I do? Swadhyaya, Ishwara Parada. Your own doing that. And then asya, you're not stealing and you're not committing all that. So Yama Niyama. Then the Tantrics and the Vedics, they all came together and said, hey, Bhagwan, we are not that evolved according to Patanjali. So, chalo thoda yoga karne do pehla. Hopefully, with the practice of yoga, we become better human beings. So that was later on. So you have 8 limbs according to Patanjali, but you look at Tantrics in the aspect of Sattvarama, the 2 aspects. The Sattvarama people said, we are not that evolved. Hum log mein dimag mein itna kachra hai. We have a lot of problems. So let's control the breath and you can control the mind. Patanjali said, control the mind and you will control the breath. This is the key difference between these 2 systems of philosophy. One is vertical, one is horizontal. So there are 6 limbs in Swattaramas, there's only 8 limbs in Patanjali. That's the beauty of it. So pranayama again comes in both the responsibilities. This comes together. It's like, how do I become what I become? Through the aspect of pratyahara. Once I can go within my own self, right? Bura jo dekhan main chala, bura na miliya koi. Right? Why Kabir says that? It's pratyahara. It's pure pratyahara. I don't have to look outside for junk. I have so much of junk within my own self. Okay? So that's the other part of it. And then you cannot differentiate between dharana, dhyana, samadhi. You cannot differentiate between that because it will come together. You cannot practice meditation. It has to come together. So yeah, these 3 limbs are completely together. You cannot. I sit with dharana. If I can sit with dharana, then I can have dhyana. If I can do both of those, then I can go into the aspect of kaivalyam or samadhi or nirvana, whatever else you want to call it. It doesn't really matter. But that's it. But in all aspects, what we're trying to do today is how do we bring the breath and the mind together? Chale chitte, chale vatam, chale vatam, chale chitte, nischale vatam, nischale chitte. Is that if my mind and my breath is out, I'm not practicing yoga. Right? How do I bring these 2 guys together is the key aspect. Nischale vatam. If I can control my breath, nischale vatam. So that is why the first and foremost thing, do not learn pranayama from TV. Please, please, please. You can learn asana from a TV, but pranayama, it's a guru shishya issue, and somebody has to correct you. That's very, very, very important when you understand pranayama, because ek baar galat seekhiye, then it's completely wrong. So the first thing is when I am breathing, when you're doing pranayama, there are 3-4 rules that I say in this. First is you're always making me sit. You'll see me sitting with the left heel inside, the right heel outside. So When you're sitting in pranayama, the first thing is bring your left heel inside and right foot outside. The second thing is your spine should be erect. Third, at least 1.5 hours of empty stomach. The fourth thing is it doesn't matter where you sit. I want you to sit against the wall. I want you to sit on a chair. Pranayam can be done anywhere so long as the spine is erect. The key why Patanjali put asana first and pranayam second is because your body has to completely relax to do pranayam. If you're tight and if you're thin and if you're hurting, you cannot sit in pranayam. So the first three things is, can I sit comfortably? That's the first. Left heel inside, my spine is erect, and that's kind of first. And then comes, how do I pay attention to my breath? If you don't get this, do not do any other pranayam. When you inhale, your stomach should come out. When you exhale, your stomach should go in. It's the most important thing. Once you get this, all the pranayams will be easy. But we don't breathe properly. So typically when I teach this, if I can use the word teach, I'll say put the thumb inside your navel, right? When you inhale, your thumb should come out. This is the first aspect of pranayama. When you inhale, your natural breath, there are three ways you breathe. There are three times. So if you were to put your thumb like this out into your intercostal, right? If everybody sits like this for a second, when you take a natural breath, your breath should come up. The first is your clavicle. Your clavicle raises up. As the breath goes inside, your intercostals opens up. Your diaphragm drops, your stomach comes out. As you exhale, you push the diaphragm, your intercostal comes down, and your clavicle comes down, right? So if you were to truly take a breath, it will happen naturally, automatically. Till the age of 4, अगर आपके पास छोटे बच्चे हैं, if you have kids and things, nobody has to teach your kids how to breathe. They breathe properly. We are the only animals who don't know how to breathe properly. After the age of 4, we collapse. We start sitting, computers, WhatsApp, Facebooks, all those things, everybody's collapsed, and then your breath is gone. So wherever you sit, I always tell my patients also, Baba, sit on a chair. Try avoid sofas, recliners. Anything you sink, you're going to collapse. So your goal is how do I get this guy moving, your diaphragm. But typically you'll see people, oh, take a deep breath. They'll do this. The moment you do this, your stomach goes in and your entire breath goes off. We breathe 18 to 19, 20 breaths per minute. A turtle, which is the longest living animal on the planet, breathes 4 breaths per minute, 3 to 4 breaths per minute. We do 18 to 19 breaths per minute. That is why Matsya Kurma Varaha, Ramo Ramachan, Narsimha, right? When you look at the Dashavatars of Vishnu, when you look at the aspect of Kurma, or that Kurma Nadi, what we call it, right? Why turtle? Because one of the most important thing is because turtle shows you how to rein in your pranayama, how to rein in that. Because that's also, your turtle also is pratyahara. How do I bring my head inside and I go inside my own shell? Right? So turtle is the longest living animal on the planet, right? So that's why. It's like they breathe 3 to 4 breaths per minute. We breathe 18. So why pranayama becomes so important is you want to keep something in your 401k. You want to keep something in your checking account, savings account. Because we're constantly using the, oh, I'm tension, I have anxiety, I have depression. Are Baba, you cannot have anxiety, depression if you understand the language of pranayama. If you understand breath, you cannot have an aspect of depression, anxiety. You cannot. The only way you're doing is because you're pushed two different places. Your mind is somewhere else, your buddhi is somewhere else, and your breath is. The moment you contact your breath, CBT, cognitive behavior therapy. What these guys are teaching, cognitive behavior therapy. Bada paisa lete itna. Your psychologist. CBT, what is it? How to pay attention to your breath. When you're anxious, you're depressed. Pay attention to your breath. If you understand language of breath, you cannot get tension. It's not possible. Right? Because the breath is separate and the mind is separate, that's why we've become anxious. So the first thing what we're going to do today is first just listen and just pay attention. You can put your left hand on your tummy and then we'll start with some breath work because I don't want to bore you too much. Right? So we put your hand and on the left hand, you can come into Jnana Mudra or whatever आपको कोई तकलीफ, oh मेरे को acidity होता है, or I have an open heart surgery, or I have blockage in my heart. You can do whatever different mudras, you can do that. You can sit in that particular mudra. So that's something you can do, whatever. You don't have to follow me. I just want you to follow whatever your disease process is, right? So I'm here. My left hand is here. All I want you to do is about 2-3 minutes. Just be with me. As I inhale, your stomach should come up. As I exhale, and try, those who are online, do not sit on sofas while you're doing this. Sit on a chair, sit on the floor, sit against the wall, but please don't sit anything soft, sinking, right? There's people on the line. So from here, we're going to do about 5 times, just for that. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. So this is the first aspect. If you're understanding breath, or you want to go into pratyahara, you want to go into the other limbs of asana. And this is also very important when you're doing asana practice. There is Uttajai. Uttajai is a pranayama. Ujjayi is the breath that I'm doing in an asana practice. If you don't bring breath into your asana practice or yoga, then it is an exercise. The difference between yoga and exercise is the aspect of breath. Very important. You go to gym and things like that, you're doing treadmill and watching TV. Kuch faida nahi. Your mind is on the TV and you're doing exercise. It really doesn't work. You got to be present. In yoga, you got to be present. Whatever you do, you have to be present. Otherwise, it's not yoga. If you're not in this room, kuch faida nahi, you're just sitting here with me, it's absolutely worthless. But if you're here, then pay attention and then you be here. That's the key. Then it becomes yoga. Otherwise, it's not yoga. Otherwise, you're just doing exercise with Gurukul. You're not doing truly yoga. Right? So how do I bring that breath is ujjayi breath. So the definition of how do I conquer an asana is when you do 7 breaths or 9 breaths in an asana practice is when you understand that I have conquered the asana. When you do an ujjayi breath in an asana, in about 7 to 9 times, then you have truly conquered the asana. Your ujjayi breath is in the glottis. So this is also becomes a pranayama, but technically it is taught as in the asana practice. Uttajai, that is a pranayama. But both Uttajaya and Ujjayi pranayams, they're both fundamentally an aspect of Vishnu conquering the asuras. So Vishnu blows the conch, the war begins, and Vishnu wins against, and the good guys wins against technically the bad guys. Asuras are really not that bad, but we are all asuras in that aspect of, we are not devas, we are actually asuras. So, but that conflict between us, good versus bad, is where Vishnu comes into play and does his leela, right? But the Adi Yogi is the Shiva. There's nobody else who has brought this into us. So this is our, and it is Parvati you ask. Matsya Asana, the fish pose, comes into play, that dialogue between Parvati and Shiva. Shiva doesn't want to teach yoga to anybody. He doesn't want to give this knowledge to anybody. Parvati Bichari, she asks, Lord, give this knowledge to mankind. So the dialogue between Parvati and Shiva and near the ocean takes place, and then Shiva starts explaining yoga, and the fish sees it, the fish is hearing it, and that is where the fish starts doing yoga and asana practice, and that's where your Matsya asana comes into play in that. So, yes, sir.
Aspect of putting your left foot inside. What is the aspect of that? Can you explain this?
The aspect of putting the left heel always is your Ida is your left nadi, is your moon, and the Surya nadi is your Pingala, right? So the key to this whole aspect is known as Sharanagati. When when you are humble, right? When you look at Hanuman in Vedanta, when you look at Dveda, Dved, Vishishtadva, when you look at the aspects of duality, Hanuman comes into play, and Hanuman comes into saying that is the aspect of Bhakti Yoga, or aspect of I am the servant, you are the Lord. So this aspect of, when you look at Ganesha, when you look at all these calendars, you'll always see Hanuman sitting with his left leg bent. Why? Is because you should be able to have the aspect of softness, gentleness coming from the heart. You need to have the radical or rational mind, but the left heel is coming inside. That means you're governed more through the heart, more soft, gentle, compassionate. So you have a Sharanagati. So the divine presence comes into play. The moment you bring your left heel inside, that means I'm humble, and you will have the aspect of Sharanagati. So when you look at some of these calendars, you will see why nobody asked these questions, but yes, this is why I always keep my left heel inside. So anything I utter, hopefully, is for benefit of others. That's why you want to keep this aspect, right? So, sure. Thank you, Ranjit. So that's kind of where you want to kind of make sure that this is sitting with left heel inside, and my left heel is touching my Muladhara. This is very secret kind of way of understanding. Your gurus and teachers, when they sit for 2-3 hours and 8-7 hours, they're talking. They don't have thirst, they don't have hunger, they don't have to go to the bathroom. But we have to go keep on taking breaks. Why? It's because the moment you touch the heel to the perineum, your desires just goes away. At that particular moment, all your physical desire, oh, mere ko bhook lagi hai, mere ko pani pina hai, all that goes away, because the moment you touch this, you can sit for hours and you won't feel hunger, you will not feel thirst, you will not feel any of that. That's the trick. That is what your guru does. Nobody teaches this, but this is one of the things you can do. Anytime you feel something like that, you just sit. You don't have to pee, you don't have to hunger. All that will be gone. That's the secret for you guys. Okay, but but that is kind of why this is very important. And once you touch the mool, your Mooladhara is the crown chakra of an animal. Understand what I'm saying? The crown chakra for an animal is our Mooladhara. That is where all your animal instinct is here. Your sexuality, your hunger, all that is here. That's where the first thing is, how do I break open this? Then only the Divine Mother. What you're doing, Hatha, is basically the Parvati wants to meet Shiva. That's all. The manifested want to meet the unmanifest. That is all it is. It's Kundalini when you say, is okay, she wants to come up here. But who breaks that barrier is your Ganesh. That's why he sits over there, and then the Divine Mother comes up and she breaks it. It comes into the three Granthis, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. It breaks the Granthis, it breaks the three locks, and Hatha happens. Once Hatha happens, your aspect of Sushumna comes into play, and in that is the Chitra, Yamuna, and the three nadis that comes into play in the aspect of that. But anyway, so just to understand this concept of when you're doing pranayama, there is so many things you are doing. Hey Bhagwan, you don't have a idea of look kya kar rahe when you're doing pranayama. When Bhikhu Bhai is teaching you that when you're doing just Anulom Vilom, the corpus callosum, the bridge between the two cortexes, the bridge between that is corpus callosum, that integrates. Your right side is more your musical and poetry and things like that. Your left side is more mathematical. But when you do Anulom Vilom, Nadi Shuddhi, Nadi Shodhana, there is an integration of your brain. It is the simplest of the breath, but it is the most, I would say, a lot of times, most important breath. Because if you understand Anulom Vilom, you can create your own stem cells. Itna taqat hai Anulom, but we don't, oh, I'm just doing Anulom Vilom. But what you're trying to do with Anulom Vilom is far greater than what you can even comprehend. What does it does to the body? In the integration, the left side, right side here and here is integration. But first is Nadi Shuddhi. So let's do Nadi Shuddhi as we get into it. So there are a lot of gurus that teach here, which is okay. They have a different kriya. That is why they teach that way. But if you're practicing just simple pranayama, you want to keep this open. This is very, very important. So when you're doing this, right, when I'm doing this, my armpit is always open. Right, so Nadi Shuddhi, just cleansing the Nadi. That is all we're doing. We're not really doing Anulom Vilom yet in the sense of that. So you want to make sure that you understand I'm cleansing the Nadi. So that is the first you want to learn is how do I learn Nadi Shuddhi? How do I just learn to cleanse the Nadi? And you're not preparing the body for doing a pranayama practice, right? So you can come into Vishnu Mudra or any kind of mudra that you kind of want to do. But whatever you do, make sure this is open, right? And typically I use Shankha Mudra or the aspect of Vishnu. So you're right. Now, the fourth rule is most of the pranayama, 90-95% of your pranayama always starts from the left and ends in the left. Ye jara dhyan rakhna, right? You don't want to stop on the right side. Always come to the left side and then stop. You begin with the left and end with the left. Same way, left heel, everything is on the left side. So coming down into your Ida is the moon aspect of it. Your manas is always calm when you do that. Anulom Vilom, very good before you sleep. It's one of the only pranayam that I would say before you go to sleep, you can do pranayam. Integration, anything with ADHD, ADD, anything with anxiety, depression. This is what I teach my patients for. Anything with mind-related aspect, Anulom Vilom becomes very beautiful. Insomnia issues, if you're sleeping with CPAP, and you have aspect of sleep apneas and things like that, snoring aspects, something, you should do Anulom Vilom before you go to bed. It's very good for that, right? Kids, anything with hyperactive, teach your kids how to do Anulom Vilom. It's the most important of all breaths. So once they learn that, then you can teach them other things. But if you can get them to learn this, it'll change your kid's life. So that's one thing, and that'll help them first understand the breath. So let's do this. We are just cleansing. So Purak means inhalation, Rechak means exhalation, Kumbhak is the pause. So we are not doing Kumbhak, we are not doing pause, we're just doing inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. That's all we are doing, right? So the first thing is exhale from the left, Inhale from your left. Close your left. Exhale to the right. Inhale from your right. Close your right. Exhale to the left. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. We're going to do a little bit faster. Last time. Inhale. If you're on the left side, you exhale. And then and stay there. Right? So basically just Nadi Shuddhi. Say Nadi Shuddhi.
Nadi Shuddhi.
Nadi Shodhana.
Nadi Shuddhi.
Right? You're just trying to cleanse the Nadi. You're preparing the things like that. Now, classically, Brastilka Pranayam was the first thing taught. In the aspect of pranayam, you will always hear Brastilka is the first pranayam you start. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you Brastilka as the last. And there's a reason behind it, is because Brastilka is the toughest in the sense of that goes completely against all the other breaths. All the breaths typically comes here. Brastilka is the only pranayam that comes here. The breath is held in your lungs. It's a cardiovascular aspect of it. Vasoconstriction, vasodilation, vasoconstriction, vasodilation. Your Brastilka pranayam is here in the aspect of heart and lungs. But all the other pranayam is here. So in the Shastras, you'll see Brastilka has been taught first. But it's so ulta according to everything else, because here Anulom Vilom, when you do Kapalabhati, it's here, Agnisar, right? Uttajai, Brahmari. Whenever you see some of all these breaths, the breath is here. Brastilka is the breath is here. So that's why the difference is. Brastilka is a very tricky, and typically it takes 1.5 years to learn Brastilka properly. Right? So the breath is completely different. So then the guru says, okay, I think you got it now, after 1.5 years. And then he starts teaching the other pranayama, because Brastilka is very different than most of the other pranayama. So we'll get into that a little bit, but I want you to get the aspect here. This is the most important thing once you understand the pranayama part of it. Right? So now we are going to add kumbhak. So now, what we're going to do in the last rule in pranayama is your exhalation is a little bit longer than your inhale. So when I'm doing this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. When I'm exhaling, I'm still exhaling. So my exhale is almost 9, 10, right? So whatever your inhale is, your exhalation should be slightly longer than your inhalation. So if you understand that, you'll be good. So don't extend. Again, ayama, we're extending. So always your exhalation is slightly longer than your inhale. So be aware of that. Everybody good? Right. So we're going to add a kumbhak. We're going to pause. Right? So I'm here and I'm here. Right? So inhale. Now close both the nostrils. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale to the right. Pause. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. Close both the nostrils. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. Pause. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. Close. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. Close. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. So you can use different counts, different ways of doing this, right? But your most important thing is exhale and pause. That exhale after Rachel is the most important of pause. In the pause is the divine, the quantum physics happens. You have this quantum soup, and I choose the probability and the possibility from that life force. You choose. Aapka choice hai. You are in that pause is my choice, and I pick that choice. I am Bikul Bhai, I'm Dr. Satish, I'm this, I'm that. When you're picking that choice from that quantum soup, you're opening that and say, okay, but in that pause is what your choices are. Do I need to do this? Do I need to do this? Should I cook roti or should I cook rice? You're pulling that from this kumbhak aspect. In this pause is your healing. In this kumbhak is everything that happens in your life is in the pause. But you're constantly inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, exhale. Then somebody else dictate terms on you. But when you pause, then you have a choice. You don't have to react. You react because you're always inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. But when you pause, nobody can dictate terms on you. It's you who pick up the choice. You pick up the choice. Do I need to react? Do I not? It's only in the pause that you'll understand the divinity, the divine grace. Neto, everybody pulls you. How do I rein it? That's where you pranayama. How do I use my pranayama to live my life? Only in the pause. Hey Bhagwan, everything is in the pause. Just to think about it. Just to think about it. Do I react or do I reflect? That's the key. When I reflect, I'm in pranayama. When I react, all I'm doing is inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Understand what I'm trying to say, right? Just a humble opinion. Why do I react to a situation? Because I don't understand pranayama. But if I understand pranayama, then I don't have to react. I have a pause. In that pause, I can reflect. And in that reflection, I know who I am. Okay? So that is why kumbhak is the most important thing. You inhale, exhale, puranapi jananam, puranapi marna. And your life, every time you live, die, live, die, live, die. Hey Bhagwan, Baba, stop. Put a pause, put a full stop here and there, Kabhi. Then you understand kind of what is happening in your life. Right? Just to reflect. Then you'll know. But we don't get a chance to reflect. We're always going forward. Right? Okay. So the next, what we're going to do is everybody's favorite, Kapalabhati. And thank God for Baba Ramdev, otherwise we would be all be in trouble. Right. So, Kapalabhati, thank you, sir. Kapal means forehead, Bhati means radiance. When you do Kapalabhati, what is happening? Why do you say you're radiant? Why did the rishis say Kapalabhati? Why did they coin the term Kapalabhati? Anybody? We understand this? No? Apart from my student? When you do Kapalabhati, you are radiant because aap mein disease nahi hai. When you truly practice Kapalabhati, you're going to be mortal. You're going to die. That's for sure. It's just that you will not have disease process. Disease will come only because it's just an excuse for you to die. That's all it is. You have a disease, oh, I have diabetes, I have cancer, I have this and that. It's just an excuse for you to die. That's all. No big deal. We're just so scared about it. We're so scared of our death. But as a yogi, if you're practicing yoga, you should not be afraid of death at all. That's a pretty bad concept. A yogi, oh, I'm practicing, 15 years of yoga. Oh, मैं मर जाऊंगा, you're bloody running scared most of the time. If you're a yogi, you should never be afraid of death because yogi knows it's just the flip of coin. You gotta go. You gotta go. That's it. Even Rama had to die. Even Krishna had to die. Anybody who was born has to die. There's no other way. You're just running around scared. Don't worry. That's why you got pranayama. So in that aspect, when you do Kapalabhati, the Pancha Mahabhutas, so say Jathar Agni, Panchabhuta Agni, Sapta Dhatu Agni. The 13 Agnis and the thyroid, these are the two aspects of metabolism, right? Your conversion of T4 to T3 is the biggest aspect, mera khana pachta nahi. When you are doing your blood work, right? Your doctors only do TSH, which is the most worthless bloody blood test. Your TSH is a pituitary hormone. They tell you your TSH is okay, your thyroid is okay. You should do a T4 and T3. Do you know how much T4 you have? And can you convert T4 to T3? Is your entire health, your entire metabolism depends upon how much T4 you have and can you convert T4 to T3? They only do TSH and they'll say, you're okay. So one of the aspects of metabolism is T4 to T3 and the aspect of your Agnis. So this Agni, when you start working with Kapalabhati, there is no ama. So the two words in Ayurveda, Agni and ama. You destroy ama, Ada Pachakhana. When you have this aspect, the undigested food that get into your interstitial spaces, in the peritoneum walls, and when you have these issues, ama, Ada Pachakhana. So you eat more than yogi, bhogi, rogi. Right? When a yogi consumes more than what he needs, he becomes a bhogi, and then what? He becomes rogi. You always should eat a little bit less than what you need to eat. But Indians, we mess up people. Oh, aapko mera khana pasand nahi aaya. And then bloody we feed and feed and feed. Are Baba, leave the person alone. Oh, khana hai dekha, mera bachcha khata nahi. Your bachcha is existing. Don't worry about it. When he wants to eat, he will eat. There's some other reason why he's not eating or why but we force feed. When you force feed, you create ama and you create disease process. And we add guilt to bloody Indians, and then we make them eat for no reason. It's the biggest stupidity. Khana to khao, nahi khana, nahi khana. Just simple as that. But don't force unnecessarily because it creates ama. And then we are having TV, Ghar Ghar Ki Kahani, this bahu ne kya kiya. That's when you're eating. And you bloody destroy your body. You're not sitting and paying attention to food. And you're just looking at other things and, WhatsApp and this and emails and phone. And kaisa bachega khana? Then you want to do yoga. Again, you're not present. Whatever anna you eat, anna and prana, the first two things what Bhagwan gave is anna and prana. How do I breathe and how do I eat? That's it. Your herbs, your medicine all came later on. How do I eat and how do I breathe? What am I consuming? That's it. Your body will know. When a lion when it has indigestion, what does it eat? It eats grass. You see, all the animals, when they want to puke, they will eat grass. All the meat eaters, they'll eat grass to throw up. You know how the deer eats. From the starting of the spring, the deer eats from the top of the shrub, and by July, August, it starts eating at the bottom. A bear sleeps 6 months of the year. What does it eat? What does it survive on? Fat. We destroyed Americans and we destroyed people by saying fat is bad. अभी Costco भी घी बेचता है. Everybody sells ghee. Why? Because keto diet. Why do we do keto? Because 75% of your brain is a fat. We said cholesterol is bad, we destroy people. This is also the same thing. मैं ghee खाती हूँ तो मोटी होती. You're not mooti because of ghee. You're mooti because you're eating carbs. Yes. Fundamentally, we are grain eaters, and that's what destroyed our people. We will not stop roti chawal. Are Baba, you have a disease, so stop eating carbs. You'll be fine. I consume at least 6 to 8 teaspoons of ghee every day. But I don't touch grains. Once in a week, I'll try. But most of the time, I try not to eat. Today also, I just had 2 teaspoons of peanut butter. That's about it. I have 1 teaspoon of ghee when I came in. That's it. But I'm doing pranayama. You want to be empty stomach. Fat is the most important thing. Without fat, nothing works. The 3 anupan in Ayurveda is what? Milk, ghee, and honey. Out of 3, 2 are lipids. How do I give medicine to people? It has to go through one of the lipid barriers. Your brain is what? 70% is cholesterol. Your cell membrane is a phospholipid. Without lipids, nothing works. Your fat without nothing works. We eat carbs, that's what I destroy. So Kapalabhati is the aspect of how do I. So we'll do Kapalabhati together, right? So the key to Kapalabhati again, before you do this, 99.99999% is exhalation. 0.1% is inhalation. But it's not a conscious inhalation. That's one aspect of it. You should not be able to hear your own inhalation, forget about others who is sitting. So this is a couple of things that you want to understand when you're doing Kapalabhati. Just watch for a second. You will not hear my inhalation. Very, very important. And I'm not conscious of my inhalation. There is an inhale. The second mistake people make is they try to do like, Baba Ramdev and all. They have done it for 15, 20 years. They are so great in their way. But you start with, don't kuch featherly. There are 2 systems of Kapalabhati. One, you start doing 1 per second. That's the first aspect. Then you do 60 per minute. That's one aspect. The second is you do 100 in 1 minute. Then becomes a speed. If you do 100, 200 Kapalabhati, it's worthless. You want to bring your tapas up to 1000. That's where everything changes. That's why all these gurus can eat and things like that, and nothing happens to them because they know the aspect of Kapalabhati. But the first and foremost in Kapalabhati is 1 per second. And the same intensity at the 60th is the same intensity when you start the first one. Very, very bad. So शुरुआत में सब लोग, everybody's there. By the time 30, 40, gas खत्म हो गया. Okay, from full tank of gas to quarter gas of tank, it completely goes away. So when you come to that point, stop. I don't know why people keep on doing it. There's no point in doing that because your intensity is gone. And this intensity, if it is gone, then kuch fayda nahi. So this movement, it's a complete pull. That pull needs to happen. If that pull is not there, a lot of people, when they come to my office, Dr. Saab, I've done Kapalabhati and then, so when I look at the blood work, the triglyceride is still high, cholesterol is high. And I think, if you're doing Kapalabhati for so long, how can you still have triglycerides? There's just no way. It is not possible. Oh, acidity. You're saying you're doing Kapalabhati for 2 years and you still have acidity. It doesn't make any sense for me. It's just not possible. Because it'll destroy. If you've done it for that long, there is no armor. Nothing can happen. Right? So that's where you want to kind of take a look at it. All right, so let's do 10 and 1 per second. Just make sure that, but there is not this. That is not there. That inhalation should not happen in Kapalabhati. It's only exhalation, exhalation. That's what you want to hear. That is all you should hear. And you should not hear somebody else. And there should not be that. If it comes, then it is not Kapalabhati. It is not. It is 99.9999% exhalation. And the biggest thing, my worry is there's so many people online. So, for all the people who are online, I don't know how you guys are doing. So pay attention. Don't do wrong. And if you think you're doing wrong, then stop. Get somebody else to watch you. People who are watching online, because it is one aspect.
So before we start, we exhale and hold breath outside, right?
You can, but in Kapalabhati, because it's an exhalation, so you want to inhale first. In Agnisar, you exhale. So in Agnisar, it's an exhale first. In Kapalabhati, because you're exhaling, the first thing is, so that's the good. I'm glad you said something in that. So thankful. Okay. So yes, in Agnisar, you will exhale and things like that. But in Kapalabhati, you will inhale because the first is an exhale part of it. So yes, everybody okay with that? Everybody, I hope. And again, Gurukul is monitoring if you have any questions, write it down, put it on the chat. I'll answer you when I get a chance. So I'll try my best to answer any questions. So please ask any questions if there is any confusion in the breath. My only thing is I don't want you to learn wrong, and hopefully I'm not teaching you wrong, or you're looking at me and thinking that you got it. That's my only thing is it's 99% is exhale. So I'm here. So let's all do 10. Let's all just do 10 and then we stop. Inhale and exhale. So this is basically 10 Kapalabhati. In the audience, anybody has any questions before we move forward?
Not so far.
Go for it. Okay, everybody understand.
Put the message that if anyone can ask in Zoom chat. So we'll see.
Okay, so if there's no question, I want to do 30. Okay, let's do 20. Let's do 20 for a second, and we'll go into that. So inhale and begin. Inhale and exhale. So I hope everybody kind of got it. If there's any question, we'll revisit it. We can answer any questions on this. But 99% is exhale, very unconscious inhale. Your body will inhale. It's just that it's not a conscious effort. It's not that. That is all the most important thing. Same way Anulom Vilom, it's a conscious inhale, conscious exhale. Kapalabhati, the inhale is very, very unconscious, and that's the beauty. The Kapalabhati is the Sanjeevani of yoga. That is why it's called the Sanjeevani of yoga. The only pranayama that is also used as a cleansing breath, and also in the Shakriyas, it is used as a cleansing, but it is the only pranayama that is used as a Shakriya and as a pranayama. The only breath in the Shastras is Kapalabhati. It is known as the Sanjeevani of yoga. What they sent Hanuman to bring, right? The knowledge was given by Ravana's doctor. Ravana's doctor actually said to revive Lakshmana, you have to get Sanjeevani. everybody was upset with Ravana's doctor. So then there is an aspect in the tradition of Adityas and in the Surya Vanshis, there is an aspect called Varna Dharam and Jati Dharam. So when you look at Varna Dharam, is according to your ability. The Jati bullshit came later on. That's what we created. Oh, my father is a king, so I become a king. Or I'm born in a Brahmin family, then I become a Brahmin. You only can become a Brahmin or understand Brahman by your knowledge, by your jnana or bhakti or karma, not by birth. That is jati dharma. That is the biggest mistake that we made with Hindu people and destroyed. You are this and this and that. But in the aspects of Rama and from that Suryavanshina, it's a Varna dharma. We used to have a band. This color is this color does this color does. According to what your ability is what was it, Varna dharma. So Ravana's doctor, when he says, my Varna dharma is a doctor. I don't care he's a friend or an enemy. My dharma, my Varna dharma is being a doctor. I'll give the knowledge to anybody who wants it. Not my jati dharma, my Varna dharma. Same way Sugriva, right? One of the greatest astrologer at that time in the Mahabharata. Why? Duryodhana actually goes to him to find out what is the time the war should start. And Sugriva, after he's taken a bath and he comes out, and Duryodhana, the first question he asks is, tell me what is the time I should start the war so I can win. And he actually tells him. And everybody, Arjuna, Bhima, everybody is very upset with him. So he says, my Varna dharma is being a Jyotish. So people will ask me a question, I'll tell them. But of course, Krishna never starts the war at that time. Krishna made sure that war never starts. So, of course, they won. But this aspect of Varna, that's an aspect of Sanjeevani that comes into play, is one of the reasons Kapalabhati is kept at such a high esteem, because if you do Kapalabhati in a particular way, then you cannot really have disease as such. You'll have an excuse of a death, but not really. Very powerful breath. Very, very powerful breath. You can just about destroy anything in your life with that aspect. That one breath, Kapalabhati. But Dirvikale Nair means you have to do it for a long time and in a dedicated practice. Then only you can get that aspect of that benefit of the breath. Those are things that are kuch nahi hoega. It's not. So I'm doing 10-minute practice now. It needs to have a longer time. Dirvikale Nair and just regular practice and a long-term practice. That's where you get the benefit of Kapalabhati, but not just like. All right. The third breath is Agnisar. This, I've gone to a lot of studios and they typically teach Agnisar and Kapalabhati as similar, or it's not. It's two different breaths. So just watch. Agnisar is, there is no inhale, exhale. Once you exhale, then there is only the movement of the stomach. Now, the third mistake is everybody thinks doing Agnisar is the same way like Kapalabhati. So Kapalabhati, you're moving like this. In Agnisar, it is a lift. I'm lifting and down, lifting and down, but only after exhale. So watch for a second. Once I exhale, but there are a couple of things that happens when you lock. So when you're doing this, watch. This is known as Agnisar, or breath of fire. You're doing two bandhas. So what you can't see is I push the heel into the perineum. I do Jalandhara Bandh. So Jalandhara Bandh and Moola Bandh. So the only thing that is open is Uddiyana Bandh. This is the only bandh that is open. So I'm trying to manifest. Once I exhale, now once I start moving, I'm generating heat. When you do Agnisar, you should start having a little bit of bead of sweat coming up because you're creating that internal heat to burn the armor. Right? So that's kind of the most. This Kapalabhati in Agnisar will destroy anything in this gastrointestinal system. That's the beauty of Agnisar and this in Kapalabhati. This area, your absorption, you can eat and poop all day long, but can I break it down? Can you absorb it? That's the two crucial things. You're taking medicines, you're taking organic foods, and all those things. Everything is fine, but you cannot break it down. Kuch pehle nahi. You're breaking down and the absorption is here. But if that is not happening, whatever you're doing, it doesn't work. So this is where your digestive aspect comes in, your absorption comes in, your Agni, your Jata is here, your hydrochloric acid is here. Everything else is alkaline. This is the only place you have acid. And then you take pentoprozols and you take all these PPIs and xanthine and your Tums and stuff like that. You shut down Agni. जो थोड़ा बहुत acid है वो भी बंद हो जाता है. Then you get more visceral. You don't create acidity because of excess acid. It's such a scam in medicine. You actually have acidity most of the time because you have low acid. When you look at your blood work, if your chloride is less than 100 or something like that, 96, 98, if your chloride, if your sodium is 135, 137, you are not creating hydrochloric acid. If you don't have hydrochloric acid, and when the food comes down into your small intestine, nothing happens. It just ferments because the food is not mixed with acid. Your liver doesn't create bile. Your bicarbonates not come into play. Your pancreas sota hai. वो bile ही नहीं है तो फिर खाना नहीं है. So this just becomes, but only because when you have acid, food is mixed with acid, then your liver says, okay, I'm going to create bile. I have bicarbonate. Then the pancreas knows amylase, lipase, protease, the basic fundamental enzymes. Then only they come, but only in the presence of bile. But acid ही मार देते हैं, खलास. Then you drink while you're eating. Ayurveda says half an hour before, half an hour after, during the meal. Baba, don't drink. If you're drinking while you're eating, you're finishing. There's no more acid left. Try not to drink while you're eating. And if you have to, have some green tea. Look at Chinese, Koreans, and all those people. They're so healthy. They're drinking green tea from morning till evening. Look at Egyptians, all the Islamic culture. They have coffee, the shah. You look at Italians, they have espresso. Every culture knows you got to drink something warm while you're eating. We used to drink warm water with cumin and things like that. Itna garmi mein we used to do that. Why? Because you are able to keep the acid going on. If the acid is shut down, everything else, because the moment acid shuts down, you create yeast infections, all the bacterial infections, H. pylori, all those things comes into play because acid is band kar diya. So this is the creating of Agni. Why you're doing Kapalabhati? What is the reason for Agni Sar? Why am I doing Anulom Vilom? Why am I doing Brahmari? When you do a pranayam, you should understand what is the philosophy behind it, what is the knowledge behind it. Why did the rishis created this aspect? You got to understand that. And don't do blindly. When you do Kapalabhati now, at least hopefully you'll understand. So let's do Agnisar, right? It's a very, very tricky breath. There is no inhale once you exhale. You hold your breath and you lift your stomach, not flap your stomach. You lift your stomach. So once again, let me just show you one more time, please. Just watch. I come in, I inhale, I come to the top of the breath. Once I come to the top of the breath, I lock it. Once I exhale, I bring my chin into Jalandhara Bandh. As I do that, I'm pushing the heel into my perineum. Once I exhale, then there is no other movement. Right? The moment you have to inhale, then stop. Do not do again. You do 2, you do 3, you do 5. Don't do it as much as I do. Don't do that. 3, 4, 5 is enough. Once you get the essence of the breath, you'll be fine. But understand the breath first. It's a very tricky breath. It's not an easy breath. But the moment you then stop, then the pranayama is over. You start all over again. But don't inhale and then start all over again. No. You start all over again and do that. So let's all do it together. Agnisar. Okay? Inhale. I come to the top of the breath. I lock my elbow and I exhale. And begin. And relax. So, couple of things. Gray t-shirt. Your hand is out. You cannot do that. You want to do this way, but you're bent. You're using the shoulder to come up. Done. See, I see that in Kapalabhati and Agnisar because you initiate your movement. Nothing moves. There's nothing movement. See here also. When you lock it, there's no initiation of the movement when you're doing this. So once you lock it, your only focus is this Manipura chakra. This is where most of your pranayama is located because it is fire element. Plus, this is your divine Shakti. This is your Manipura chakra. The ability to live in society, ability to live, your strength, your Shakti is primordial Shakti is here. In the Chinese medicine, when we look at that, it is the main chakra. It comes here. It's the aspect of kidneys and adrenal glands. They're able to move forward. Here, again, you are having a different glandular system. Your ovaries, testes coming up into here, into kidneys and your adrenal glands, coming up into thymus. Then you're coming into thyroid and parathyroid, and then you're coming into pineal, pituitary, glandular. So your chakras have each chakra has a particular affinity towards your glandular system. That's why when you are doing pranayama, your glandular systems are working much more better. Your pranayama does so much because the aspect of chakra comes into play and your glands. Your glands then secrete what you need. Your pancreas is also a gland and an organ. So when you look at thymus, pituitary, pineal, every chakra is connected to a particular gland, not just an organ, but it goes to a particular gland. And if the gland, your neurotransmitters are working, your hormones are working properly. When your hormones and neurotransmitters are working, Arababa, you cannot have anxiety, depression. Postmenopausal women, or you have issues with cycles and things like that. Your Swadhisthana chakra becomes, or you had a C-section or something like that, or you have a hysterectomy. All those comes into play. You want to make sure these things work properly. This is here. You cannot be spiritual without these three guys being okay. It's the biggest stupidity in yoga. I'm here. If these three are not balanced, nothing will happen here. If you don't have compassion, if you don't have forgiveness, if this is not there, you cannot do nothing. All you're doing is puja part. That's it. It only comes from here. If this is compassion, if you have that, then only this will open. So this balancing here is first. That is why pranayama comes into play, because these three chakras has to be balanced first for you to get the spiritual aspect coming into play. Very, very important. You cannot do puja with a hungry person. That's why the first what we do in temple, pehle khana khilao. Why? Because if you're hungry, you cannot meditate. You cannot focus. You have to balance these. Without that, nothing. Ghar nahi hai, you cannot do mortgage, ye nahi kar sakte, your business is going down. Your Manipura chakra is not alive. You cannot meditate. Once these three things happens, then you can start doing other things. But yehi nahi to fir baki nahi hoega. Nothing will happen. All you're doing is being in the temple. That's it. A little bit different. Okay, so let's do Agnisar, right? One more time. So, from here, as you inhale, come to the top of the breath. I lock it, and then I exhale and begin. And relax. Everybody good? Not bad. Yes, sir. Just lift it up. Yes, yes. Not bad. Very good. So so this is Agnisar, right? Breath of fire. You're creating Agni. So we did Anulom Vilom Kapalabhati Agnisar. It goes against everything I teach. I'm teaching everything on the same day. So forgive me, but you know, at least you know what are the 7 pranayams. Okay, these 3 things. Now comes the aspect of let's do Brahmari. So when you're doing Brahmari, every part of your cell is vibrating with the aspect of Brahma, the creative voice that we have. Brahmari is the love affair between the bee and the lotus. That boom sound that the bee makes, and when the bee comes into presence of the lotus unfolds and it gives. The love affair between the bee and the lotus is Brahmari. But you vibrate the entire cellular system with Brahmand. Your your aspect of nada comes into play. Nada Brahma. You comes into the play of nada. The nada Brahma comes in, you vibrate. So it's a vibrational aspect. So a lot of people have a concept that when you're doing Brahmari, it is coming from here. Your Brahmari is the vibrational aspect that comes from here, not really here. This is, yes, but it is coming from here. You want to bring the vibrational, just like when you say Om, not O-M, A-U-M. My ma sound is not with closed mouth. It's a natural order. It's a vibration because it is your Om is beyond the aspect of labiodental, the speech pattern, or the aspect of when you have a tongue and things like that. So before even the creation of the universe, the Om sound was already there. So then how do I try to use the Om word without using too much of mouth and stuff like that? So same as with Brahmari. When you're doing Brahmari, Brahmanda, your Brahma comes into play, your creative aspect comes into play, your every cellular aspect has a vibration aspect. We are not in Newtonian physics, we are in quantum physics. You have a vibrational aspect rather than a solid aspect. So this, you're fundamentally emptiness. This what you see as a physical is fundamentally 99% is just emptiness. That is why when we look at the 5 elements in Ayurveda and yoga, or in the aspect of Sanatana also, when you look at any aspect, the first thing is space. Without emptiness, nothing happens. Without emptiness, nothing. If everything is stuck, again, there's no space. When I look at Vastu, when I look at homes, and when I go to homes and set up homes, there's so much of clutter and things like that that is in there. There is no space. If there is no space, the energy, the Vastu Purush cannot move what it needs to do, because everything is stuck. So space, that's why we have a courtyard back home. You have a courtyard, is emptiness. You should have an empty space in that, then all the 4 elements can move. Your northeast is water, northwest is air, southwest is earth, southeast is your kitchen. Your Agni corner is back home used to be your southeast. Your wells and ponds and everything was in the northeast corner. Your guest quarters were all in the northwest corner. You sleep with the head on the southwest. Your pitrus are in the southwest, and you wake up looking at north or east or northeast. That's how you should sleep. Your head should be in the southwest. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is without that space emptiness, that is very clear. So you're creating a vibration aspect. The first mistake is a lot of people keep the finger apart. No, it should be here. There are three marma points: Bru marma, Kankani marma, Gandha marma. The three marma points here. Here. This is your tragus. You close your tragus. You should only hear your Brahmari. You should not hear other people's Brahmari. So when I'm doing this, I'm closing the tragus here. You don't put your thumb inside the heel. Hey, Bhagwan, don't do that. You're just closing the tragus. So the aspect of Brahmari is here, and I'm closing this. That's one sound you can make. The other sound is you are here. So my tongue is connected to the palate, Kechari Mudra, and I'm doing Om sound. I can do that. So you have a choice. You can do either a B sound or a. The key to this is, again, you should not vibrate. There's not too much of vibration in there. Try to keep it in the same line. When you come to the end of the breath, don't start all over again. When you end the breath, end the breath. Don't do it. Right? So once I come here and say, don't. Just one smooth motion. Once you do it, Brahmari. And try to not do it more from here, but more from here. So I'm trying to bring it from here rather than just from here. That's the difference. Makes sense? So Anulom Vilom, Kapalabhati, Agnisar, we're going to do the aspect of Brahmari. Right? Okay. So let's do this real quick. You should not have too many problems. So again, you are touching here, here, here. And it's not a pressing, it's just a touch. Your finger should be here, not here. When you do this, you are here, here, here. And when I say inhale, you inhale. And then when you close the tragus, and then you begin. So and relax. Okay, 5 people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All of your fingers are out. That's why I said, don't do that. There is a reason this is very, very, very important. All 5 of you had finger here. Your index finger is out. Your index finger should be touching on the third eye. Why is this so important? The third eye is, this is your third eye. And who sits in your third eye? Shani. Shani sits in your third eye. Why do we put tikka? Why do we put sandalwood, or why do we put kumkum? Or men and women both used to do it, because your kumkum and your tikka had mercury in it. Mercury was part of that, your tikka process, and mercury put a pressure on the third eye. So you are looking from here at people, not from here. You're going internally to look at this aspect. So when I'm doing this, this should be touching. You're putting pressure on the third eye, and I'm closing. But the moment the finger is out, it doesn't make any sense. You need to be here, touching, touching, touching. That's what you want to do. Don't let this out, because you want that pressure, because you're going inward through that aspect. Let's try it. Right? One more time. In here, here, take a deep breath and begin. And relax, relax. Good, good. Amma, your finger is still out. Put the finger in the middle, please. Shiva. Put it here. You're still out. Touch it, touch it, touch it. Very important. You got to put the pressure on the third eye. Then only you can go with. Brahmari can only go internal. The aspect of Shani, being humble. Your Satis, all these things affect you. Right now, the conjugation, the aspect between Saturn and Mars, itna garbad hai. Till August 27th, there's so much of stuff going to go happen. Your Mars is going accelerated, your Shani pulls handbrake. You know how Mars is going? You're going to have so much of gitchwick till August 27th. Brahmari, very beautiful way to control that aspect. How do I bring this together into play? Shani. If a gardener comes into play and you're cutting grass and he says, okay, Dr. Da, 40 bucks, I'll give him 45 bucks. All the little people are Shani people. You take care of your Shani people, you never get affected. But udhar mein hum log gich karte hain. Your car mechanic. Oh, okay, 150. Give him 151. Are Baba, his aspect of Shani. Your Shani is little people. You take care of your little people, you'll not suffer. Understand the language of universe. What does? Sab log Shani ke piche bhagte hain, then you're doing Hanuman Chalisa. But take care of your Shani people. उसको नहीं करेंगे वो मंदिर में जाके बड़ी हनुमान का ये करेंगे वो करेंगे. Take care of human beings, the little people. Take care of them. Shani will be very happy. Don't worry about the boss. Chaprasi ko pakdo. Get him to do this stuff. Give him some money. Chalo, ho jayega. In Desis know that, right? Chaprasi ko khilao pehla. We know that. Boss ko baad mein karna. Usko mitayega, but chaprasi ko $50. Be happy. Take care of your little people. You'll never be affected. Trust me on this. Jo bhi chota aadmi, according to you, who is, just give it to that. You'll always be happy. Shani will always be happy with you. Shani, third eye. It puts a stop, and you know this is the star patterns. Till August 27th, you're going to have trouble. So, aage piche. So, control your Shani. Always. Saturn. In different parts of the brain have different aspects. The amygdala has your hypothalamus, your corporate. They all relate to particular aspect of your planetary positions. But your third eye is part of your Shani Maharaj. So that's where this comes into play. That's where we have Tikka. That's where we have the third eye. We all talk about third eye. All right. So that's Brahmani. All right. Now, something called a Shitali or Shitkari. That is how one of the only breaths that typically you inhale from the mouth and exhale from the nose. All animals, when they get hyper hot and things like that, they'll do that because your saliva cools the breath. So that is what. So there are two ways to do it. One, those who can genetically roll the tongue. You can roll the tongue, so you inhale from the mouth and exhale from the nose. Those who cannot roll the tongue, you bite the tongue and you take the breath through the side aspect of it. So what I'm doing is I bite the tongue. So how do I cool my breath? Shitali, Shitkari. This is where we teach more in India and things like that because it's very hot. And so typically you don't do Kapalabhati too much in the summertime. You wait till a little bit cooling fall and things like that. But Shitali, Shitkari, how do I cool my breath? But you don't do too much of this again because you're inhaling from the mouth. And that's technically, you don't want too much of it. This becomes a pranayama because we are doing it only for 7, 8, something like that. Don't do too much more than that. But that's kind of the key is. So let's do it all together. You're inhaling either to the side or you can roll your tongue and you inhale through the mouth, but you exhale through the nose. Right? So there is a pause. So let's do that. This is your Shitali pranayama, right? So Shitali or Shitkari. Shitkari is your biting the tongue. Sitali is rolling the tongue. So,
excuse me. I heard that in summer month they do Kapalbhati reverse. Is that true?
what do you mean by reverse?
They take it from the right nostril and blow it. It says, I don't know, I heard it.
Yeah, no. Kapalabhati is not one or the other nostril. No.
Right, just for the summer month they do it. That's what I heard.
You can do certain things at the right nostril before eating food. So if I want to do Surya Kriya Nadi or I want to just do Pingala Nadi, then I can do. I'm only doing right side nostril before eating.
It's not for summer months.
No, it's for metabolism. If I'm going to sleep, I'll do more Pingala, I'll do more Nadi. If I'm going to eat or something like that, then I can do more from the right nostril Nadi and activate my nas. Every 1.5 hours, only one of the Nadi is open. So when you take your breath, you can take a mirror or you can take your hand and you inhale and exhale. Right now, both of my breath is equal because we've done pranayama. But typically, you'll find either breath on this side or this side. There are other ways also to check. You can blow wherever the fog is. You know which element is active, which tattva is active. Also, you can look at from the fogginess of the mirror where it lands. That's one aspect of it. The other thing is you can check which one is active also every 1.5 hours. You can from also the lunar cycle also it happens, but mostly about 1.5 90 minutes you switch nadis. Your key to your health is, can I breathe from both the nostrils? That is your key. If I can teach you one thing, if you can just pay attention to your breath and you say, oh, this is active or this is active, then do some anulom vilom and make it equal. It will change your life. It will change your life. It's so beautiful aspect of it. So your key is, can I breathe from both the nostrils? So that's why pranayama is so, so important in the grand scheme of things. All right, so we talk. Good question. Thank you. Yeah, so yeah, it's not, it's not right. They may be doing it, and I don't like to say anybody is right or wrong. That is not my intent. But in the aspect of pranayama, if I'm sitting here and saying something, it's not supposed to be done like that. I don't know what the reason would be. God bless them, but you don't change the aspect of Kapalabhati. You just, not really. Sorry. Okay. So I want to quickly touch Brastika because that's very, very important. I want to show you Brastika. In the Shastras, it is said it can be done 101 different ways. There are so many ways to do Brastika. And there's quite a bit of issues that goes with that. But the one thing in any Brastika that you practice, you are filling up here. It's not here. Right? So when you're doing this, right, when you come, I slightly choke this so the air is here. Like Kapalabhati, it's here. Agnisar, it's here. Anulom Vilom, it's here. Brastika is cardiovascular, it is here. One of the contraindication for Brastika is hypertension. So then you have to tone it down. How do I do? You can still do if you're on lisinopril or you're on amlodipine or anything, if you're any of those drugs, you can still do Brastika. You just don't want to do very, very intensity. But Brastika is very intense breath, right? Right? You can do so many different ways. There's so many different aspects of Brastika pranayama that you can do. But the key is, whenever you do this, is how do I keep my breath here? So the key is, again, you exhale from here, but the breath in Brastika is kept here. That is the kind of the main thing. So a lot of people, they're doing it here. So the trick is, how do I come up and hold it there? So see, let's just follow one thing. Just watch me for a second. So I'm coming here. So I filled it up here, but I'm exhaling. So you don't have to do intense. But for right now, just understand breathing up around. So let's begin, right? So I'm coming up, inhale. I fill it up completely, and then I exhale. Right? So that is your breathing up around. So if anybody wants to straighten the leg, because if you're sitting for a long time, you can. I'm also going to start. But what I want you to understand is the aspect of how you're manifesting Brahstrika, right? Is the key is to make sure that your chest is filled up, because that interplay between your heart and lungs. Remember, your lungs and your skin is the last thing that is made in the gestation period. That is why it is kapha dosha, right? So it is kapha, it is mucus, right? The lungs and the skin. That's why kids have more issues with aspect of eczemas and things like that, and they get into more trouble with breathing aspects of it. So you give albuterols and other things like that to help them breathe better. Skin issues, eczema, because it's a liver pathway, so those kind of things happen. But your 0 to 18 is kapha dosha. And then we are giving the milk and things like that. I just recently had a patient, within 2 months, her milk was completely over. So the baby is on a formula, and now it cannot digest, right? Because it's such a young baby, and we are putting formula. So it is kapha. 0 to 18 is kapha dosha. 18 to 35, 45 is your pitta part of your life. And after 45, 50, it's your vayu time of your life, vata. You need to understand as yogis, these three, vata, pitta, kapha, the negative, or what you call the doshas, right? Something that is dush in Sanskrit means something that has gone bad. Vata, pitta, kapha, right? The primordial 5 elements, how it manifests as disease. Vata means space and air. Pitta is fire and water. Kapha is water and earth. So you need to understand what are the foods. Okay, I'm having cold, cough, and then you eat cheese. You're going to create more mucus. Right? Oh, I have acidity, I have GERD, and then you're eating peanuts and cashews. It's heat. Don't do that. Right? So what is my dosha? What is my prakriti, and what is my vikriti? This kind of what is my innate nature, and what is my disease process? What is the foods that I'm eating that creates some of these aspects, right? So vata, pitta, kapha, and the panchavayu, prana, uddana, samana, apana, and vayana. The panchavayu, how that manifests. Why am I doing pranayama? Is the aspect of the panchavayu, prana, uddana, samana, apana, vayana. So your prana movement coming in, your prana sits 12 anguli. This is where your prana sits. Your prana, uddana, samana, apana, vayana. So when you have varicosity, varicose veins, spider veins, things like that, vayana vayu. Your digestive issue, samana vayu. Osteoarthritis and things like that, apana vayu. Basically, apana vayu is the vayu which is sitting here and goes into your joints. You call it osteoarthritis, basically is apana vayu. I have ADHD, ADD, or I have seizure or something, uddana vayu. Okay? So the vayu, the movement of the vayu, vayana, samana, udana, apana, prana. So that's the panchavayu, how it moves inside your body. That's one aspect. Your vata, pitta, kapha, how that plays into your life. Your pranayam, how it comes into manifesting. All this put together. Your pranayam does so much that integrating everything, your panchakoshas, your saptadhatus, your pranayam has so much variability and so much divine aspect of it. We don't understand the beginning or the end of it. After all these years, I'm still a student in this. We still don't know the effect of how much it can do for you guys. So when you're practicing pranayam, just pay attention. There should not be much bitch going on. Just stay there. Whatever 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 8 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever practice you have, keep it that you're tuned in. And once you tune in, then stay there. And that's how you can do pranayam practice. It will change your life. I cannot emphasize enough on that. And I'll stop here. It's 9:23. I don't want to go anything more than this, right? The last one is Hari Om and Ujjayi. Like, so Hari Om itself becomes a pranayam. So Hari Om is, I'll just show you one time. So the ma sound is coming up, higher consciousness, and you're bending down, lower consciousness. So that is a pranayam in itself. It's a mantra, but Hari Om becomes a pranayam in beautiful. It's 1/3 here, 1/3 here. Ha O Ma Hari Om Ha Ra. So it is mula and then ha, and then it goes up and down. That coordination is Hari Om. And the Ujjayi, like I said, is the aspect you coming up with the breath. And again, it's a left, but it is coming up. That is Ujjayi. So that is the 7 breaths that I typically show. I don't like the word teach. That's what I show. So Anulom Vilom, Kapalabhati, Agni Sar, Brastrika, your aspect of Brahmari, Shitali Shitkari, and Hari Om. So those are 7 pranayam that you can try, you can do, whatever that. The first and foremost, again, only sincere request is first get this down pat. Can I inhale with my stomach out? Can I exhale with my stomach in? Inhale, exhale. If you get this, you're fine. Everything else will come. Just start there. If you're starting new or starting great, wherever you start, that is the key. That is the key to all breaths. This, when you inhale, your stomach should come out. Exhale, your stomach. Right? So, thank you to everybody. But if there's any mistake from my side, my humble apologies. If you have any questions, I'm on WhatsApp. You can ask me any questions over there also. And if you have any questions, I don't know if anything showed up. Is there anything that we need to do?
No, there is no question.
Okay.
And I later I'm going to mention that your number, name, everything is on a flyer as well. So if anybody have anything, they can just message or.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, let's do 3 times Hari Om and we'll end the session today. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Thank you. Is there any questions here in the audience? You want me to answer? By any chance, we have three minutes. If you have any questions here.
limit on how many style you do it?
You can do as much as your breath can hold.
No, like how many? Like 1 time, 2 times, 3 times?
No, you can do as many times as you want. Yes, it's only thing is you want to make sure that once you break the breath, then that's it. Okay. Anything else?
On the same note, initially it's gonna be like lowering count, right? Once we start breathing good, once our breathing gets like to the standard breathing, and then it will be getting to like pace, and then it will be standard 5 to 6, right?
Right, right.
Initially our breaths are small. At the moment our breaths are small, that I can tell you right now.
Right.
We're gonna have like 2 or 3. That's what I see.
Correct. Yes, you can go up to 8. A lot of times you cannot go more than 8 and 12, right? It's very difficult because you're holding your breath for long. So typically, I would say 2, 3, 5 is pretty good place. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, very good session. And actually, if audience remember, 2 years ago, whenever we had a session with you, that time we were not able to cover all of these pranayams, and we decided that one time we're going to bring you in again for all the pranayama. And luckily today, Chaturvai organized this weekend workout, and today we got discussed all those details of the pranayamas. Thank you so much to you.
Thank you.
And behalf of the group, I'm just giving you Bhagavad Gita.
Thank you, thank you. The one thing
Just
I
as
need
a
in my
thank you.
life. Wow, thank you so much, guys. Thank you. It's very kind of you.
I received same copy yesterday as well.
Okay.
So both of us now we need to regularly do the study.
Having the book is okay, but can I follow this? This will be the toughest thing for me.
It's for everybody, but whatever we can, Thank you,
Absolutely.
Satishbhai. Just I requested Satishbhai to come for us, and he took his busy time to come here and spend two hours with us. Satishbhai is like information he was giving is like drinking out of fire hydrant, fire hose. It's a lot of information. His knowledge last 20-25 years he acquired this one, and especially I'm following Satish by 15 years and love that when he taught. I like to ask the question. So even though I know sometime, I ask the question so everybody else knows. So sometimes maybe audience feeling the why he's asking this question. But I want everybody to understand this part.
For other people.
Yeah. Second thing is thank you this Gurukul. I asked them, they said hall is available. I asked them how much charge is going to be. They said no. I asked them chai and breakfast. They said don't worry about that. We will take care of everything. So my humble request is whatever you can donate to this facility, appreciate that. But really we appreciate this. And DC Yoga Group, Bakulbhai is from DC. He started this journey of yoga online on Zoom during the COVID. And I'm proud to say that he's, like Satishbhai says, Dirga and consistency, right? You said Nirantar. I'm proud to say he's a 1200 episode without missing any day, on time start and on time end.
So far, in short, we can say that so far, I don't know how to write cancellation note. Since 2020, April 5th, so far today, even today, everybody's online on time, 7:30. We don't know how to write cancel. We never had a single session cancel. And so it's all because of God's grace.
And please spread this word. This is all the links there. Satishbhai's website is there. His number is there. Anybody wants to contact anytime, please. But we want to spread this message and more people take the advantage of this knowledge what we have, here. Thank you, everybody.
Satishbhai is very good at Ayurvedic and what is the other one is?
I do Chinese medicine.
Chinese medicine, so many things. So he do travel to the other place. People come to him. So it's either way, but he take care of those holistic ways to treat the people.
And his knowledge of all the body parts and this pranayama and things like we feel proud of. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
God.
much.
Thank God. Thank you. Thank you. They are very generous with me. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Thank
So
you.
everybody, I'm going to
Breakfast in the kitchen.
guys unmute. So at least you guys can at least say thank you or Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Swaminarayan,
Now I will
anything.
get it ready for you.
You all are unmute.
Thank you.
Thank you, Satishbhai. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Yes. બધા તમને સાંભળીએ છીએ. All right. Chalo, bye everybody. See you all tomorrow morning at Surya Namaskar session.